Okay, don't know what's going on there. Some server issue, I think, but I think this is a new stream, so I don't know if any of you will see it. Let me just put it in the Telegram chat. Yeah, 0 viewers. I don't know, I'll wait a minute or so here and see. I don't think I can reconnect to the original one. Let me just see where we're at with that. 3 thumbs up. Let me see if I can find the original chat, because I didn't read all your comments there. So okay. Yeah, I was saying the Kurgan for World Emperor. I agree with you. 3 of you here. I don't know what is going on. It looks like the server is a bit crappy, so I'm now on the shitty version of the internet, so I don't know if this will work. But I did get the chat back, so if this one lasts, we're still good. So on the chat here, what was saying, so Woolly Ram's question was there a church-approved formation of a knight? I'll get back to that. What about the Crusaders and Reconquista? It's a matter of station life, a father, mother, elder brothers obliged to defend his family. And of course, Robert Nascimento says the Kurgan for world president. No rolling around and cuddling a man. Emperor. Yes, emperor indeed. Anyone else have a lag spike? Yeah, we all did. As a loading circle of weight. Lost the stream. Have you ever looked at manuscripts, the HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts People Study? Bother, just as he was getting into it. Yeah. Okay, take a huge baptism. All right, well, it looks like we're back. I'm just going to wait a minute or two just to hopefully let everybody catch up. There's 8 of you. There was about 20 of you, I think, on the original one. But whatevs. Let's see how we go. So yeah, I was saying, you know, in the Crusades, they well, in Catholicism in general, there was no specific martial art, because it's like when a Catholic gets going, he's there to fight to the death, essentially. Tries to avoid fighting as much as possible. When it kicks off for real. With regard to you know, the religious formation, which is a very good question that Woolly Ram asked, there was no, the religious formation was to be a Catholic, be a proper Catholic. Attend Mass every week if you can, every month. You know, the Crusaders only got Mass maybe once a month if they were lucky, otherwise once a year. And I was just saying, you know, they used to take baptismal sort of huge bath things. There was one in the church behind my house in Venice. There's probably a meter and a half across, huge basin of stone that got taken by the Crusaders from Europe all the way to the Holy Land and all the way back. This thing weighs a couple of tons at least, you know. It wasn't like, oh, we'll just take a little basin to, like, you know, baptize kids that are born on the way, or, you know, whatever, people that we convert. These guys didn't fuck about with the Mass and things like that. They took that absolutely seriously. And keep in mind that even though they killed a bunch of, you know, heathen, like pagans, or, you know, heretics, Muslims, they did penance for that, despite the fact that they had to do it, you know. So it's the relationship between martial arts and Catholicism is that I think Catholicism doesn't have a martial art. It just has martial systems, which is you use whatever you need to use to win the fight. Which means in today's day and age, you know, you probably don't need to spend all that much time on like hand-to-hand fighting. Depends on your location, your situation, your particular zombie apocalypse scenario. But you know, you use what you got to use to win the fight. I mean, that's essentially the Catholic way. Let me quickly catch up with the chat again. Like I said, I do enjoy your questions, guys. So don't feel shy about asking stuff. It's fine. Rakir6 says, I've read today that Starlink is available in Italy towards the end of the year. Might help with internet. I have no idea what Starlink is, but thank you for that. I'm sure some IT dude in my little Kurganet will know. And yes, Robert Nascimento, I agree. I should be the world emperor. Now, if just enough of you move to the Kurganet and do everything I tell you, we'll get there in like a few weeks. Honestly, if I had 10,000 men that would just do what I said, the Papal States would be back within a month. Italy would be, Italy again, but it would be divided into the Papal States and, of course, La Serenissima. I would probably move there into the Doge's palace, temporarily, no more than 30 or 40 years, just to get shit right. And then we could sort out the rest of Europe in the next couple of years. So yeah, just need 10,000 good men, that's all. When you just all move to Italy and, swear allegiance like the knights of old used to do, jokes aside, that would work. That would, honest to God, work. Yes, I've noticed that. Alpha007.org says the whole internet in the West is experiencing issues for the last 2 weeks. Absolutely. Outages everywhere and interruptions. That's absolutely true, because I thought it was my setup that wasn't working. That wasn't it. My setup is working fine. It was just 2 weeks of like dead air, pretty much. AJ, hello AJ. AJ is an interesting guy. AJ started painting. He does some pretty wonderful paints. And he's also Kurganite, but I think he's still following a crazy Jew out in Idaho. Just saying. Gabriel made it back. Too interesting to miss. Good. I'm glad you're enjoying the topic. Yeah, the Catholic martial arts, I've got a very thin book called Warrior Monks, and it details the various Catholic orders of knights and so on that had papal approval, like, the Templars, the Knights Hospitaliers, and various others. And it's quite interesting because they all had specific sort of mandates to a certain extent. Law 307 says it is all about Systema, right? No. Mentioned Systema a little bit. AJ says, I'm in a hot 44-degree attic right now and battling my own crusade against this furnace AC unit I'm trying to install. Well, it's a good thing you're not on the stream then, because I wonder if you even have underpants on. Bully Ram says, good luck AJ. I hope you have a strong fan to drain the hot from the attic. Cordell Mitchell says, hail Supreme Commander. Good man, that's that right attitude. You see, if I had 10,000 men like Cordell, take the Vatican back next week. Woolly Ram, thanks, I'm almost done, thankfully. Good. Sylvester Rep, hello, we haven't seen you in a while. Good evening, guys. I have to get back to work, but I found a great Systema group in Amsterdam. Training has been a blast, usually exhausted at the end, physically and emotionally. Yes, but happy, which is somewhat different from if you go training on a very hardcore karate thing, where you'll be physically and emotionally drained, and sometimes a little bit depressed by your broken ribs, flattened nose, and so on. Robert Nascimento, are you believing in Lucifer? And if yes, is he either in hell or roaming the earth? Well, I'm a Catholic, so of course I believe in Satan. And as for your, I think it's called millennialism, your question, there's various thoughts on it. Because in the Bible it says that like for 1,000 years there'll be like Christianity, Catholicism will continue to expand, and then for like another 1,000 years or something, Satan will be released on the earth. That's very interesting, because if you think Jesus died at the age of 33, 1,000 years from then would make it 1,033, and that was pretty much the height of Catholicism. After that, you had the schism from the East in 1054 or so, the Crusades, 1095, the Crusaders came back in about the 1200s. That's when my family came back to Italy, and then it's sort of, the Muslims attacks, infighting, the 1500s. Then you had the Reformation in the 1500s. Then you had the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and the Carbonari in the 1700s, and the degradation has continued since. So another 1,000 years brings us to 2033, which would be sort of around the apocalypse time. The interesting thing is that there are two other dates that come to 2033. One is Peter Lemesurier's The Great Pyramid Decoded. He comes up with that number as 2033 being the second coming or something along those lines. And of course Vox Dei, which I think, I don't know, I'm not sure, I might be wrong on this, but I believe that he came to that number through his own readings of the Bible or something. So, and I'm just doing simple maths. I personally don't care when and if the apocalypse arrives. You should act the same regardless. So, 2033 seems about right for when the shit will really hit the fan. So, in fact, I think it'll be, probably before that. But then again, according to Revelation, there's going to be like 3 years of misery before they say, I don't know, something like that. So 2030, 2021, we're nearly halfway through the year. By 2025, I think it's going to get really shitty, and then we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Happy the camaraderie is striking. Good. Law 307. What the relationship between Ryabko Systema and Orthodox Church? Is magic come from there? Law 307. Don't be a dick. Alright? Have proper decorum and ask your questions properly. If you don't like Systema or you think Systema's fake, fuck off. Go find a Systema instructor that's a decent one. Go to Russia. Go and challenge Michael. Go to Canada. Go and challenge Vladimir. And then come back and let me know how that worked out for you. Alright? Systema is effective and it works. If you don't understand it because you're dumb or you have no knowledge of it, then keep quiet and learn. Right? Ryabko pushes the Orthodox Church because he's Orthodox, and he pushes Orthodoxy because he's Orthodox. And no, his ability comes from hard training over many years, which, if you are interested in that stuff, the digital Kurganet stuff I'm releasing in about a week or so is got a series on Systema. I'll explain it there. Buy the Systema. That's why I wrote the book on Systema. Nobody was really telling you the truth about how it works, why it works, and how it functions. So if you're interested, read that over there. But you come here telling me, oh, is it all magic and flashy shit? You can piss off. I don't have time for people that think they're smart boys. Really don't. Wooly Ram says, what do you think are the benefits of false religion to a pious and honest believer of false religion? Well, all false religions have little grains of truth. So, for example, let's take Buddhism. I've got a little ingrown here that's bugging. Buddhism ultimately is a wish for permanent death so that you don't suffer anymore. That's what nirvana actually is, the absence of all desire. Well, what's that? Complete dissolving of the consciousness. So it's kind of nihilistic ultimately. And it is very stoic in its in the way that it's done, but it does give you a certain measure of peace. I mean, I would have considered myself probably a Zen agnostic for most of my life, certainly when I was training karate very hard. And it does give you a certain peace because you're not relying, you don't believe in a particularly a God that cares about you or anything, but there is some overarching intelligence, there is a stream of consciousness, and when you die, and whatever happens, happens, and it's just like, it's okay. It's kind of similar to Shintoism and so on. And there is a certain level of peace in it. And that's why samurai were such formidable warriors, because they had no belief in necessarily a life after death other than your ancestors looking over you, that sort of thing. But, your value as a warrior was whether you simply obeyed the rules of being a warrior. That was it. Psychologically very resilient. If you take Muslim fanatics that blow themselves up, they'll just charge knowing that they're going to die, they just carry on killing as many people as they can or whatever. I'm not saying that's a good thing, by the way. I'm not saying that that's a positive, but it's effective. And they are brainwashed. You can get brainwashed into believing just about anything. Every human being can be brainwashed into believing all sorts of nonsense. But I've met what I would call observant Muslims of a good kind, and ones of not as observant, funnily enough, but of the bad kind. And the ones of the good kind go to mosque and they do their prayers, and they're actually quite interesting people. They tend to eschew the fanaticism. They say those people are not Muslims of any kind. So they've got their little schisms and so on as well. But I don't. I've read the Quran or whatever, but I don't really care about that religion. What I'm saying is that there is going to be some benefit to you, whether it's direct or indirect, whether it's conscious or subconscious, and whether it's intentional because you're choosing it, or subconscious because it's been fostered upon you, which is, I think, the case in most Islamic situations. I think Fox is projecting an economic collapse of 2033 due to a historic lifetime of currency. That's quite possible. Yeah, rabbinic Talmudism is a case study in brainwashing. Yeah. I mean, rabbinic Talmudism is satanic. There's really no other word for it. Any religion that gives you a rule for like raping 3-year-old kids, I don't give a shit what it's called. It's satanic, and it needs to burn, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah. Okay, so that's essentially my take on all this, was that Catholicism doesn't have a specific martial art attached to it, because what they trained in was, real shit that kills people. There was a question here I saw a little while ago. Who was that from? Where's that Hema thing? Where's that? Somebody asked a quite interesting question. Oh. Maybe it was, can't remember who asked it. Maybe it was in the old chat, which I've kind of switched off now. But someone asked about what do I think of the historical European martial arts society or something like that. One, I don't know enough about it, but as far as I'm aware, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I had it, it was a few years ago when I looked at anything like this. They were essentially looking at things like fencing, sword fighting and so on, because again, that was part of the training of a Catholic knight. You'd learn to use a sword, you'd learn to joust, you'd learn to use the lance, you'd learn to use all the weapons that a modern knight of the time would have had at his disposal. So again, if you are a Catholic and preparing for the apocalypse or whatever, you would naturally train with whatever weapons are available to you in your particular area, region, whatever, and become conversant with them, and conversant with whatever military tactics are required, again, given your opportunity areas and so on. Law 307 says, sorry, I think I expressed myself in a wrong way. I'm already Systema student. Okay. So apologies, I get a lot of gammas, and sometimes I react a bit quickly, but I'm already Systema student, but I'm struggling how the masters got there. I like your book, by the way. All right, well, in that case, let me apologize to you for assuming you were just, talking shit. You actually meant magic in a good way. It's really hard to summarize Systema in a way that you will understand, because I can tell you the honest truth about Systema in about 3 sentences, but it won't mean a damn thing to you. The whole point of Systema is that you use a different neurology. If you're interested in this, I do go into this at a lot more length and an explanation of it in the Systema series that's going to be part of the digital Kurganet, which I'm releasing in about a week. So if you can afford it, maybe join that. There's going to be a series of videos there that explain the stuff, both theoretically and also showing it practically. We're doing some filming tomorrow on some of these things. But in essence, you got to train. Just train and train hard. And also, your instructor, if he's good, if he's a good teacher, if he's a good exponent, that helps. Now, some really good exponents of Systema are not necessarily good teachers of it. They don't explain stuff. They can't explain it to you. But and some guys don't bother explaining to you, but they're really good at teaching. But they don't do it verbally. They just do it physically. If you've got a good teacher, in other words, if your teacher can kick your ass 6 ways from Sunday, whether he teaches verbally or not, just train with him. Just do what he says. And that's my best advice. And if you can, try and train with the top guys like Sergei Orgeliev, Vadim Dobrin if you're in South Africa, Ryabko if you're in Moscow, Val Ryazanov if you're in, I don't know if he's in Saudi Arabia or London now. All this, some of the guys I trained with in London, there's quite a few of them. Obviously Vladimir in Canada, he's probably, I would say, one of the best exponents. I don't know, it's between him and that Sergei Orgeliev guy, either one of them can kick my ass every which way till Sunday and many times on Sunday. So I don't know. Gabriel says, I think Hema is fascinating but not practical. I might be wrong about what I'm thinking about. About Hema, I thought it was a generic term that covered things like fencing and so on, but possibly I'm mistaken. And also, people that come up with these theories, it's like, oh yes, I'm an academic and I've studied the martial arts of Europe and now I'm going to put together this system that beats every other system. I'm not saying that guys like that don't necessarily have a nugget of truth or something good here and there, but unless you've been surrounded by a bunch of people trying to punch your head in and survived it, or at least trained that way, do I really care what you think about martial arts when you consider that I've been doing martial arts since I was 4 years old? No. I'm sorry, but unless you're something pretty special, what you think about martial arts, I don't particularly care. I know enough myself on that particular topic that I can tell if you're talking shit, if you're ignorant or not, pretty quickly. Maybe not on the chat, and I mistook Law 307 there as being somebody who was taking the piss, and instead he was just asking a question. But face to face, I'll pick it up before you open your mouth if you know how to move or not. So that's just how it is. So I hope that covers the concept. And so tomorrow's Thursday. The day after that, Wooly and I are going to be doing a stream on the zombie apocalypse, hopefully without too many technical problems. And it's obviously all hypothetical, and as a result of that, we will be asking the chat for their hypothetical situation of a zombie apocalypse. We'll be talking about slow zombies, fast zombies, dumb zombies, smart zombies, weapons available, circumstances that you're in, whether you're in a town, rural areas, and so on. Alpha 007 org makes an extremely good point. Most martial arts were Americanized. Best example, samurai. That unfortunately is very true. And as we now know, the USA was a Freemasonic country. In other words, it's truly the first country created by Satanists. And everything that flows out of there, the zeitgeist of America, is polluting the planet, really. So I'm sorry for the Americans among you. It's not personal, it's not about you specifically, of course. It's mostly about your government and your elites and your you know, same story. Well, all governments are scum as far as I'm concerned, pretty much. Yeah, indeed. Gavril says to Low 307, is that number your area code? Because it's also my area code. That's good. You guys could train together. Woolly Ram says, hypothetical case Nightmare Kitty, case file Minecraft. I think Roblox is better. You know, my daughter prefers Roblox, and so I don't like any of those games. I think they're fucking retarded, but you know, whatever. That's what my dad used to think about Dungeons and Dragons, and he was wrong. So, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, my daughter has just made a whole map in Minecraft. It's like a labyrinth with like special keys and things to get out of. I was like, fucking hell. And she's having some problem with the Apple ID or something, so I'm trying to sort that out. And she thought for a second I was just going to wipe out her computer or her phone or whatever. And I was like, and she just started to cry. I was like, no, but Dad, I've got like pictures in there I want to keep from when I was small. I was like, I would never do that. What possessed you to think I would ever wipe your things or reset your computer without, you know, no, I would never do that. You know, just calm down. She goes, no, I don't have so many pictures in the computer, but, you know, I've got like the app where I've spent 2 weeks building my little thing. I was like, yeah. It's not going to get lost, don't worry. You know. So, Roblox. Robert Nascimento says, I want to team up with the Kurgan when the apocalypse is happening. Yeah, I, you know, moved to Italy, like I said. If I had 10,000 men who'd just do what I said, the Papal States would be renewed within the next couple of months. The Vatican would take longer to clean out because, you know, we'd clean it out in about a day, but, you know, the exorcisms that you'd have to do and the resacrification, the resanctification of the churches and literally every stone in the place, that could take years. And a, you know, an army of like serious exorcists and proper priests to cleanse that place from the scum that's been inhabiting it for the last several decades. But yeah, so Robert Nascimento, if that's your name, you seem to have an Italian surname, get your Italian citizenship or residence permit sorted out, move to Italy and look me up. Efrain Sala says, good evening, Mr. Kurgan. I was wondering if you have read Brian C. Morszewski's book, The Immortality Key, The Secret History of the Religion with No Name. No, I have not. I have never heard of it. Sounds interesting. Let me quickly... Oh, that's a little dude who's still up. That's not good. Because it's like 11 o'clock. I'm probably gonna go soon, guys. Any thoughts about the Bogatirs and Hesychasm? I don't know what those are. So, no, I don't have any thoughts on them. The foreword for the book was by atheist Graham Hancock. Oh. I have a little I've got a trailer for the Face on Mars thing, and there's a little bit about Graham Hancock in there. Graham Hancock is a journalist. He's a plagiarist. He has literally stolen my work and admitted it verbally to my face. And I've got a witness that was standing next to me when he did that 20-something years ago. And, you know, he's a drunkie. He's a junkie of some kind. He drinks, you know, ayahuasca or whatever it's called. So he's like a guy who just goes on weird trips. Not sure what to make of it yet. Only a few chapters in. Anyway, have a nice one. I gotta run. Working. Okay, Efrain. Well, thanks for the book title. I might look it up, but I don't know anything about it. And Low 307, I do not know what Bogatirs and Hesychasms are. I've heard Hesychasm before, but I'm not sure what that is. So, Robert Nascimento, I'm from Amsterdam, EU, so no citizenship needed. There you go. Just move to northern Italy, dude, you know. Come check us out. Woolly Ram, the loyal bishops might have to establish a special cleansing order just for cleansing the... Yeah. They would have to have an army of priests. I think they should just fence it off, like, you know, a dangerous, radioactive, satanic area of filth. And, you know, gradually send brave warrior priests in there, you know, spiritual warriors to go in there and take the ground back. Graham does look very short. I don't know if he's not that short. I think he's about 6 foot, but he's a journalist. You know, that's right up there with people who, I think as Dante would say, lick Satan's anus. Hesychasm is an Eastern Orthodox meditative discipline. So no, I don't know what that is, Law 307, because I don't consort with heretics and schismatics. So if you've enjoyed Systema, then I suggest you get Reclaiming the Catholic Church, because it sounds like you might be an Orthodox, and you know, that's fine. I flirted with Orthodoxy myself for a very brief period of time, because it's a superficially attractive, but once you dig deeper, it's not the true church. Okay, guys, I think my wife is keeping the kids downstairs to not disturb the stream, at least from the little scream and stomping around that I heard of the little Viking. So I think I'm gonna call it a night, because I thought he was back in bed, but you know, I think I gotta go put him down. But thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Join us. Oh, by the way, Friday it's gonna be Woolly Ram. On the 10th, I've got an interview with the guy from Vendi Radio, who is the only, to date, nominally Novus Ordo-ish Catholic who has taken me up on the challenge to have a conversation about Catholicism and why he's not a Sede. So he's a very nice guy. I really like him. I liked his interview with Emo Jones, the fake grifter Catholic. And he says, you know, he likes Emo Jones. I don't. But I'm gonna be very polite to him, and I'm gonna ask him some questions and see, you know, what he's taken. He's the first guy to actually have the balls to come on the stream and discuss this. So quite interesting. All right, thank you all. And yeah, nationalist. I'm afraid the stream broke, so there's like 2 parts to it, and I'm gonna rename this one once it's up. But yeah. Waiting for the Systema series. Thanks, Kurgan. You're most welcome, Law 307. And again, apologies if I went off at you a little bit. It's, you know, the stream gets quite a few gammas. I mean, they've been weeded out. There's huge mass graves of gammas in the band section, but cool. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it as well. Sounds like a good guy. Good night, all, and God bless you all. And keep training. Catholic martial system training. Good night.